All right, let's talk about something that's absolutely critical for any serious AI work. Reproducible data pipelines. This is the stuff that happens behind the scenes, the foundation that really determines if your models are reliable or, well, just a lucky shot in the dark. So let's get into it.
So, we've all been here, right? You've got a model, it's working great, giving you fantastic results. You come back the next day, maybe a week later, you run the exact same script, and suddenly the results are totally different. It's a complete nightmare, super frustrating, and it points to this huge hidden challenge that we all face in ML apps.
Yeah, this whole mess actually has a name. It's often called the reproducibility crisis. But the good news is there's a real answer, a solid engineering principle that tackles this head-on. And that answer is building truly reproducible data pipelines. This is how we go from guesswork to professional, reliable AI.
Okay, so before we can make a pipeline reproducible, we kind of have to back up a step. We need to understand its basic anatomy. So what exactly is a data pipeline when we're talking about machine learning?
At its heart, it's an automated workflow. And that word, automated, is super important here. It's a set of connected steps that grabs raw data, cleans it up, transforms it, and gets it ready for its final destination, which for us is going to be our ML model. See, without this structure, we're just running scripts manually, and that's exactly where all the problems start.
Let's just follow the data on its little journey for a second. First, it gets pulled in, or ingested. Then comes the really critical part, cleaning and pre-processing. After that, we do our feature engineering, creating the signals the model will learn from. And finally, we build our training and testing datasets. The key thing to get here is that for the whole system to be reproducible, every single one of these stages has to be repeatable. If one link in that chain breaks, the whole thing falls apart.
So what's the secret sauce? What does it actually take to make a pipeline truly reproducible, like bulletproof?
Well, it really comes down to 7 core requirements. I like to think of them as the 7 pillars of reproducibility. Now, what's really cool here is how these pillars cover every single possible thing that could go wrong. You need a fixed environment, so all your libraries are the same version. You need to version your data and your code, so your inputs and logic are locked in. You even have to version the parameters and log all the transformations. So here's the deal. If, and this is a big if you can maintain all 7 of these things, you can guarantee you'll get the same results every single time. This isn't just a nice idea, it's absolutely essential for debugging, for audits, and for actually trusting your own system.
Okay, understanding the principles is one thing, but how do we actually do it? Let's get practical and look at the tools of the trade, the kind of MLOps toolkit the pros use to build these systems. You've got a whole set of specialized tools for this, and each one has its own job. For versioning code, of course, we've got Git, the industry standard. For data versioning, there are game changers like DVC. To make sure the environment is always the same, we rely on Docker. And then to tie it all together, to automate the whole shebang, we use orchestrators like Airflow. Think of them as the conductor of the orchestra. Let's take a closer look at a couple of these. So, Git is fantastic for our code, right? But it's famously terrible at handling big data files. It just wasn't built for it. And that's where DVC, our data version control, comes in. It works right alongside Git, letting you version your datasets and models just like you version your code. The result is a single, unified history for your entire project. Code, data, everything. And this is where the magic really happens. The entire pipeline is defined in a file, usually called dvc.yaml. It spells out the different stages of your pipeline. Each stage has its inputs, the deps, and its outputs, the outs. DVC reads this file and builds a complete map of your workflow. So now, if you change a piece of code or the raw data, DVC knows exactly which downstream steps need to be rerun. It's automation and traceability all baked right in.
Okay, so our code is versioned, our data is versioned, we're doing great. But what about the specific parameters for a training run, or the metrics that came out of it? That's where experiment tracking tools like MLflow come into play, adding another vital layer of reproducibility.
And look how easy it is. With just a few simple lines of code, you can log every important detail about your experiment. Here we're logging a parameter, what kind of scaler we used, and a metric, like how many rows were processed. This means we can perfectly recreate the run, and maybe more importantly, we can find and compare the exact experiment that produced a certain result, even if it was months ago.
Next up, let's tackle that classic, infuriating problem, the "but it works on my machine" excuse. This happens all the time when different computers have different library versions, leading to these subtle bugs that drive you crazy. Docker and Conda are the cure for this headache. They let you package up your entire software environment.
By defining every single dependency and its exact version in a file like this, you basically create a portable, identical little universe for your code to live in. You can spin it up anywhere, on your laptop, on a teammate's machine, on a production server, and it's always the same. This totally eliminates the environment as a source of error. Same code, same environment, same results, every single time.
So now that we've looked at all the individual tools, let's zoom out. Let's see how they all fit together in a professional, industry-standard MLOps architecture. This is basically the blueprint for building AI you can actually rely on. As you can see, it all flows from the data source. An ETL pipeline, often run by something like Airflow, processes that raw data and puts it in a feature store. From there, our ML training pipeline, managed by DVC and tracked by MLflow, takes over. The final model gets put into a registry, and it's ready for deployment and monitoring. See? Every component we just talked about has its own special place in this system. It's a well-oiled machine.
So, to make this all super practical, here's a simple little cheat sheet. On the left, in the Do This column, you've got the must-haves. Version everything, use Docker, automate your workflows. And on the right, these are the red flags, the common mistakes you have to avoid. Hard-coding file paths, running scripts by hand, not tracking your dependencies. Following these rules is really what separates a hobby project from a professional, production-grade system.
If you only remember one thing from all this, let it be this. Reproducible pipelines are not a nice-to-have. They are the absolute non-negotiable backbone of any AI system that you want to be trustworthy, auditable, and professional. Period.
I'm going to leave you with this quote because it just nails it. A pipeline you can't reproduce is not engineering, it's luck. I mean, that says it all, right? Without reproducibility, you're just crossing your fingers and hoping for the best. With it, you're actually doing real engineering. So the final question you've got to ask yourself is this. Is the AI you're building based on solid engineering, or is it built on luck? Thanks for joining me.